back to Media One TV, and at Oromo Widows and Orphanage Center we have many activities. Now we're diving into the way they convert solar energy into use. Let's hear more about it.
Yes, my name is Elisha. I'm a technician at Winamjua Knowledge and Testing Workshop. Winamjua works under Oromo Widows and Orphans. We make solar cookers, solar dryers, and energy-saving cook stoves. Our main intention is to convert our communities to use the sunlight instead of using firewood, which contributes to pollution of the environment and also degradation of our forestry. We realized that most of the deaths that occurred, which made most of our members widows, which made them become widows, were as a result of pollution. As you are aware, pollution affects the lungs, it damages the lungs. It also creates inflammation of the heart, which resulted into rapid heartbeat pump, hypertension, and eventually caused more of the deaths of the husbands. So we decided to look into ways and means of reducing recurrence of such issues. And that's why we came up with the issue of teaching them how to make and use solar cookers. Now, as you already know, that most of our community members prefer using firewood. Transferring them immediately from the 3-stone cook stoves to the use of solar was a bit difficult. So for a start, we sat and thought it wise to make for them other cook stoves, which to them looks beautiful, but has complete conversion. Now that is when we started with the first one we started with was Afro-Basic, which is this one. We call it Afro-Basic because it is the first one we started with as Africans. The use of this, to them, looked attractive because it produces a lot of fire, a lot of heat. To an extent that if you put your sufuria inside here, you cannot touch it without using, we call it kamata. I don't know how, yes. So we started with this, but later we realized that this one had a lot of disadvantages. Because you see, in our traditional households, we have children playing all over. Sometimes when you're cooking, they go and touch it, and instead they get burnt. So we decided to think otherwise. We moved ahead, and we went to another stage where we started this one. This is called Flora Jiko. Flora Jiko is made of pure clay, sawdust, and charcoal dust. We use charcoal dust here and sawdust to create room for storage of heat. When we have a mold, I'll show you the mold in the workshop. The first day you light fire in this jiko, the charcoal dust and the sawdust will burn, leaving tiny pores inside for heat to be stored. So here, we intended to reduce the amount of firewood usage, because if you make very big entries, they overstock with firewood. So here we only use 2 sticks of firewood. They use 2 sticks of firewood. The measurement between the base and the pot is standard. It does not exceed 11 inches. And then the measurement of the pot rest is also standard to an extent that it does not exceed 9 millimeters, neither does it go below 9 millimeters. So, as I have said, this one makes the combustion very complete. You only use 2 pieces of firewood. Minimal smoke is produced. Those 2 pieces of firewood, if they get finished, burnt out, you just close the entrance. And you continue to cook. Why? Because you shall, as much as you are, the fire which was burning was cooking, it was being stored at the side. So you can still continue to cook your rice and tea using all those 2 firewood pieces, 2 sticks, not even big firewood, sticks. Now, we went ahead and constructed, because people are complaining this one is heavy. It's heavy. So we thought of ways and means of reducing the weight. That is what brought us about the issue of using vermiculite, which we get from Embo. Now we have several types of, to date we have developed several types of cook stoves. We have this. We also have, this is just the same as the one of Basic, but this is a mistake which was made. One of our orphans thought it wise to go and do an addition, a value addition, comparing African household. You know, this one uses only size 17, a small soforia. And this one cannot feed big households. So he decided to make something on top of this so that it can carry a bigger soforia. But this was a mistake made because the distance, the height of the portress is just extraordinary. This is a waste of energy. Then addition of this from here to here makes the distance between the fire and the pot longer, which is also another additional wastage. So this one we ruled out. Now, we have here Panda Jiko. This is only, we don't make it, but we assemble it because everything is imported. You just assemble it. It also uses firewood. Only 3 pieces of firewood inside here. Just put 3 pieces here and you light it. Either use firewood or briquette inside here. Just 3 short pieces. You light it and then you place your soforia there, you cover it. It uses very little firewood and minimal smoke emission. You also have this one. This one though it uses briquettes. We are trying to disapprove the use of charcoal because charcoal also contributes too much to the cutting of trees, and the emission of carbon monoxide from charcoal is just extraordinary. So we only encourage them to use briquettes here. Briquettes they can make out of proceeds from their farms, so we don't have an issue with them. So basically these ones we are teaching them to make so that they can reduce the cutting of trees, because as I told you, the usage of trees, of firewood, is very minimal. It uses the amount of firewood which they used to use for 2 weeks, now they can use for 2 months because of these ones. So these are the molds we use to make the clean cook stoves you saw. It produces pieces like this. And if you want to make one complete stove, you will need 6 pieces of this. So maybe you will ask why we didn't come up with one mold, complete mold, which makes a circular, one complete product. You know, here we're dealing with heat. Whenever there is heat, there is expansion. So we have to leave gaps for expansion and contraction. Otherwise, if you don't leave those gaps, there will be cracks all over. That is why we encourage them to make pieces and then they are joined together. You can do cladding, or you can, for those who cannot afford to clad them, you can just make strips all around to put them together and you continue to cook. So another advantage is, if this one is destroyed, you just go and make one piece and you replace. Because everything has got time of wearing out. So that is why we came up with such molds. But what you should not forget is that our main intention is to teach people how to make and how to use, because we want to scare away this Satan we call pollution. And there's also another one. I told you we are going around targeting the communities, teaching them how to make and use. We realize that there is only one type of cook stove which we've rolled in the western region all over. And I think this one has produced a lot of good results. This cook stove originated from Malawi. In Malawi, the local community, people of the lowest cadre, uses it. And so far, it has been confirmed to be efficient and energy saving. So we decided to bring it here in Kenya, and we've been training people how to make it and how to use it in the western region of Kenya. It is called Ripple Rocket here in Kenya. It uses only 2 pieces of firewood. If you overstock firewood, there will be no air grate. So smoke emission will be more. So we make it cheap for the communities to construct. Here we also use charcoal dust, we use sawdust, and we use either clay for those people who cannot afford cement. But for those people who can afford cement, we only use half a bag of cement and 2 wheelbarrows of sand. But for those people, for the poor who cannot afford cement, they can use clay. But they mix with sawdust and charcoal dust. As I said, the first time they will light fire inside here, sawdust and charcoal dust will burn, leaving tiny pores. We use 26 pieces of bricks. 26 pieces of brick. As you know, bricks are insulators. That's why we decided to use it for storage of heat. So this one has got complete combustion. As I said, the distance between the fire and the pot is standard. The distance of the portress is standard. And we also have a distance between the fire and the base, which allows for air draft to help in combustion. So this one, as I said, has been rolled over, and the result has been very good. People are using it in the western region of Kenya. We also have next to us here, Family Love Cook Stove. Family Love Cook Stove is a cook stove which uses only 1 entrance of firewood, but 3 places of sufurias. So if you're using 3 pieces of firewood, it cooks ugali, sukuma yako, and fish at the same time. It also has complete combustion, minimal smoke emission also. Cost for installation on this one, if you want me to install it for you, the cost is just 2,500. It's not much. Because we want many people to use it. We don't want the costings to go very high. But we can also go and train people. You only avail the materials, and then we come and we train you on how to make and how to use, because we want you to roll it over also. Now, let's go back to this solar box. This is a solar box. You can use it to cook all types of food, apart from deep frying. Because I'll explain that. You can roast your meat here. You can cook githeri. You can cook here. What you need to do is just to place it facing the sun, and then you direct the sun rays to the inside box. As you can see, this is just a glass, so the rays, visible rays, can penetrate inside. So here, at the corners, inside here, we have put insulators. We have placed wool at the sides and underneath to make sure that all the heat that is transferred here is retained, no loss of heat. Then we painted, at the base we painted black. As you know, black objects absorb heat. So the moment the visible rays strike here, they are reflected to the box. Then in the box, let us use this for an example because we have a software here. In the box, we use a black pot. Black pot. It has to be black to absorb heat. So the moment the visible rays penetrates the black pot, two things happen. Number one, it is absorbed. Number two, there's another ray which bounces back, which is invisible. It is called infrared rays. And all these are very beneficial in the cooking sector. It comes with a very low wavelength that it cannot penetrate outside the glass. So it is concentrated inside there. So here when you cook here, assuming you want to cook meat, you just cut your meat into pieces. You wash your meat, put in the pot. Let's use this pot as an example. You cut your meat, wash it, put in the pot. Add cooking oil, put all the ingredients, and then don't add water. I know most of you like soup so much, but don't worry, you'll get your soup here. Don't add water because meat is raw. It has got water inside. Tomato has got a water content. Onion has got water content. All those ingredients. So there is no evaporation here. So all the water contents in those things I've mentioned will turn into soup. So you put the lid, you place it inside there, and you direct it to the sun rays so that it is reflected in the pot. But there's one thing you have to make sure you do. Time keeping. Here there is no tasting of meat. Because we know, we men, we have sometimes disadvantage because the people who cook our food, when we buy a kilo of meat, what is presented eventually at the table is a quarter because of tasting. Here there is no tasting because the moment you open this to taste, the heat that was accumulated here will escape. This is sort of fresh. So basically what you do, once you place your pot inside there, you just note the time. If it is meat, it will take 1.5 hours. So one of the good advantages of this is that the cook can place his food here and goes to do some other chores. Maybe wash clothes, do some other things, while waiting for food to do what? To cook. Because meat takes 1.5 hours.
And just to ask, with the sufurias, do they come in sizes? Can you just have the small sufuria?
No, you don't need to have only this. You can even buy as per the size you want, but make sure you paint it black. The paint should not be, it should be blackboard paint. Not that one, that oil paint, no. Blackboard paint.
Meaning I can just buy the normal sufuria.
Normal sufuria, you paint the outer side plus the lid. It must have a lid. Unless you want to roast your meat. If you want to roast your meat, you don't need to put a lid. You just remove the lid. But because it may stick to the sufuria, you must apply some cooking oil at the base so that it doesn't stick. Advantage of this is that you just put a lock here. When you put it outside there, people will just pass by and salivate, but they cannot penetrate and get your food. We have another type of, two other types of solar boxes. Apart from this one is a system used in West Germany. You know, in West Germany, the sun rises there, it goes there, and sets there. It doesn't come on top. You are aware of that. So that is why it is slanted. So this is a sample we just given from a friend by a friend in West Germany. So, but it's also usable here. It can be used here. Apart from this, we have two other types outside there. If you allow me, we can explain. We have cook kit and parabolic. Parabolic it needs a lot of attention when you're cooking, using it, because if you put sufuria without water, it destroys. Now this is the cook kit. The function is more or less the same. The rays of the sun strikes the reflector. Then the reflector to the pot. All this is made, the angles point towards the black pot. So wherever the rays strike, they are reflected to the black pot. Then this one, as I said, its duty is just to retain the infrared rays from escaping. I told you it comes back, it bounces back to the very low wavelength. So basically the use of this and this is the same, apart from the fact that this one is portable. It is a light. It can be carried. You go with it for picnics, or for our women who go to marketplaces to cook. To sell. They can carry this. They go on selling while their food is being cooked. For those who go to shambas, either to plant, you can also carry it. Before you start plowing, you put your food there, but you keep time. Now we have parabolic, which is outside there, which I was talking about. Can we see it? This is parabolic solar cooker. We also make it here in our workshop. Its function is more or less the same as the ones I've mentioned, apart from the fact that when you're using this, when you're cooking here, it produces very high amount of heat to an extent that if you put this pot here without water, it destroys the pot. All these reflectors are put in an angle that it points directly under the pot. It reflects the rays to this place under the pot. And this one, you must, when you're cooking here, you must keep close surveillance, because the heat, as I said, the heat is just too high. It's too high. The amount, the time it takes for food to reach boiling point is very small. What I mean is that it cooks very fast. So if you don't check on your food frequently, then sometimes you might find that it is burnt. That is the difference between this and that. Basically, it's just made with these reflectors. These are the reflectors we use for making it. These ones.
The material of the reflector.
These ones are just bought. We buy them in Nairobi. Yes. And then you cut them into pieces. The reflectors, you cut them into pieces. The only good thing with the solar cooking is that you don't need to use strictly these reflectors. You can use other reflectors so long as they can reflect the rays to the pot. I can remember when I went to teach some people in Bungoma, we used aluminum foil for reflection, because the end result is we want to make it cheap for communities to adapt. If it is expensive, the more expensive it is, the more it will scare people away from using it, because they cannot buy it, they cannot afford it. So we are still looking into ways and means of getting cheap material. The end result is we need reflection. Thank you.
And another question, just to ask,
Yes.
where you've reached now, would you say that the community has adapted your way? Ama you still have to continue convincing them compared to when you started?
When we started, it was difficult to convince them because one, they are used to the three-stone cook stoves. Two, for those people who could afford LPG, they were using gas, which was readily available. But now, it is about 6 years since we started. The response is good. People are using solar, direct sunlight, they're using solar boxes, because we went around to the community, we targeted the lowest cadre, and we taught them how to make and how to use. We did not discourage them from using their other cook stoves. What we did is just to teach them how to make other cook stoves, the biomass cook stoves, which have got complete combustion. But this has helped because now when we compare the households which were using firewood in this area, at least 20% currently are using solar cookers.
And another question, due to the weather currently, would you say that the solar panels are quite a disadvantage now that at most of the times it's not sunny, it's cloudy?
Yeah, we also thought about that, and it is true that Kisumu is a place where we have a lot of, most of the time, a lot of sunshine. But we thought about that, and we came up with an idea of making fireless basket cookers, whereby you just jumpstart your cooking when there's no sunshine. You jumpstart your cooking in the efficient cook stoves, clean cook stoves we've taught them to make. Once it has reached the boiling point, they place it in the fireless basket cookers, and it will continue. In short, it retains. If you put your food inside that box at a temperature of maybe 70 degrees Celsius, it retains for 8 hours before it starts to lose gradually. So that one we developed, I'll show you, we developed that one to help in solar cooking. When there is no sunlight, you use the fireless basket cookers. It also helps in cooking. You can use it as a cooker, you can use it as a fridge, or as a hot pot. This is a fireless basket cooker. We use it to cook food. We can also use it as a fridge, and we can also use it as a hot pot. We have made it in such a way that if you put your food inside here and you put the lid, it retains the temperature at which the food has been placed inside here for 8 hours before it starts losing gradually. For example, I said it helps in solar cooking in such a way that when there is no sunlight, we encourage people to use the developed cook stoves, clean cook stoves we talked about, but you don't need to cook your food until it gets cooked. You only need to put it until it reaches boiling point. The boiling point in Kisumu is 94 degrees Celsius. Assuming you're cooking here in Kisumu, when it reaches the boiling point, you remove it from here to your fireless basket. The distance, the process from removing from the cook stove to the fireless basket, it shall have lost about 2 degrees Celsius. That one leaves you with. So 92, ukifunika namna hii, it will remain, tell you that 92 for 8 hours before it starts releasing gradually. So those 8 hours, your food shall have been cooked, even if it was meat. You can also use it for the widows who go to market centers in the morning, but the children also go to school. they don't have time to come back and cook for their children. So what they do in the morning, they cook ugali, they place in what fireless basket. It will remain hot for 8 hours. When the children come from school, it will still be hot. Then the meat, if they want the children to eat meat during lunchtime, they also fry their meat, they add soup, they add water, then it reaches boiling point, they remove it, place it here, place it under the table, so that when the children come back at lunchtime, she will not be available, she'll be at the center hawking her wares, but the children will get their food warm, still hot as it was. They will eat and go back to school. So it is very advantageous. It has really helped our widows and orphans. This is the workshop where we make most of the things. We have there a solar dryer. Invented it 2 years ago. You can dry your skuma there and then eat it next year the same date. We not realize it was dry. You need to soak it for 10 minutes. It dries foodstuff with all the ingredients. It takes only 1 day to dry. So as I've said, here is where we make them. When it is a day for making for making foodstuff, we just call our orphans here. They all come here and then we make according to the orders we've got. You can see there we have got uncompleted fireless baskets. This is an order which was placed. Once it is completed, they will go just like that. So we make and we deliver. This is the heating area. The rays of the sun strikes this place, this transparent aluminum foil, but the base is painted black. So when you place it at the sun, where there is sunshine, it absorbs heat, and then that fan, which is driven by the panel, is supposed to push the hot air from here to the drying zone. It takes basically only 1 day to dry sukuma wiki, but it dries with all the ingredients, as opposed to sun drying. If you sun dry, you lose all the ingredients. We use these ones to dry moringa leaves, guava leaves, to make the herbs we sow. As I said, we also teach people how to make, for those who are interested. The community with the lowest level in the community, where sometimes charging phones is also a problem, we thought it wise also to include a phone charger. So the moment she dries her food, but she can also charge her phone. There's a phone charger we also put just next to the fan, which drives the hot air to the drying area. Yeah, the challenges we face, we have a lot of challenges. Number one, the type of, initially I told you we targeted the local community, because our main intention was to eliminate pollution completely in this area. So, bearing in mind that people were used to the traditional cooking system, the 3-stone cook stoves, getting them out of that system to this one required a lot of attention. We had to use a lot of funds, moving around on a daily basis, teaching them, buying materials, because you cannot tell somebody, I want you to move from what you know to this one and charge her. No, you must avail all those things. So one of the challenges we had was the financial crisis, because we had to at least solicit for funds from our own pockets to make sure that we bring this change. Number two, when we started, I told you this is called Winamjua Knowledge and Testing Workshop. We get the knowledge and we call our orphans to come so that we teach them how to make whatever. Now, initially, When we got the information of making these cook stoves, it was a bit difficult to maintain because the type of materials, for example, the reflectors here, they were very expensive for us because we had to commute from here to Nairobi at a hardware called Jubilee in Nairobi to buy it. That will increase the costs. So the costs was also a challenge. Two, another challenge I've talked about, people getting used to their traditional system, creating awareness. We need the government assistance in creating awareness so that people should know that they can use direct sunlight, which was given by God freely, to cook their food instead of buying, going into a lot of expenses of buying charcoal, maybe going to at a cost of getting LPG gases. When you talk about costings, let's start with the cook kit. The cook kit goes at 2,500 shillings. 2,500 shillings, that is all inclusive. When we come to parabolic here, it's a bit costly because of the materials used, as I told you. It goes at a rate of 35,000 shillings. But that one need not to frighten people away because it takes a lot of, we call it, the durability is long of this one. The solar box costs 4,500. The fireless basket, we charge as per sizes, starting from 2,500, but there are people who prefer making up as per their own requirements. So we'll be able to do costings as per your order. Energy saving eco's are also different. The charges are different, but they range from 1,500 to 3,000 shillings. As I said, my name is Elisha Ochieng Oliech. You can get me at www.winamjuakenya.org. Alternatively, you can get me at 0708 832 589 or elishaochi@gmail.com.
Guys, kindly visit this place at Orongo area, and remember that a happy life is a healthy life. Come live a healthy life, get these medicines, get the solar panels so as to prolong your lives. And do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to this channel at Media One International.